is opening its markets as part of the democratization process. Myanmar is known as Asia's last frontier because of its potential for development. Other countries are eager to invest. Regular flights to Myanmar have resumed. All Nippon Airways is offering a service between Japan and Myanmar for the first time in 12 years.
Yep.
ANA President Shinichiro Ito says Myanmar has high potential for economic growth and is drawing worldwide attention. The airline hopes business people and tourists will travel to Myanmar, where democratization is underway. This customer says they are very happy that direct flights will be available. He says Japan would like to take part in Myanmar's growth. ANA will operate 3 round trips a week between Narita and Yangon airports. The flight takes about 7 hours. Myanmar has a population of about 60 million. The country has abundant natural resources and low-cost labor. The process of democratization and economic reform is being closely watched. Japanese firms are eager to move into Myanmar. 80 people attended a seminar in Chiba. This participant says his company has a factory in China, but there is a big risk factor because of the row between the two countries. He says Myanmar could be a hopeful candidate for production in the future. This medical equipment maker has already moved into Myanmar. Producing the needles used for surgery requires manual work. The Japanese maker decided to carry out mass production in Myanmar where costs are low. Its factory in Myanmar has about 300 employees. Most of the workers are from farming villages, and they put a lot of effort into their jobs. The Japanese maker's chairman says his company needs people who can do tedious work without making a mistake. He says the work of checking takes long hours and involves repeating the same process many times. He says they found the right people in Myanmar. He says the quality of the workers makes up for the poor infrastructure. The company is considering expanding its factory, forecasting improvements in power supply and other infrastructure. But this person says he's been told that the Myanmar's gas will be exported to China. A local source reported that a plan to export Myanmar's natural gas to China is underway. The Japanese firm's chairman says China's move may have a political aspect, but one company cannot stop China from using Myanmar's energy resources. He says his company is seriously considering expanding production in the belief that the situation will improve. China's presence is disturbing Japanese firms. China has been steadily stepping up its ties with Myanmar. This is a market town along a main road leading to the national border with China. Most of the goods are imports from China. The border town is filled with products made in China. This man imports car parts and stationery. He says he cannot survive without Chinese products. He says tariffs have been lowered and sales of Chinese items have increased. Myanmar was under Western economic sanctions during the period of military rule. China built close relations with the country at that time. Last month, Myanmar President Thein Sein had a meeting with China's Vice President Xi Jinping. Thein Sein told Xi that Myanmar will never forget China's support during its most difficult times. Myanmar's president stressed that China is a very important partner. Investment by China over the past 2 decades totals $14 billion, or 60 times the Japanese figure. In the capital, many facilities, including an airport, have been built with China's aid. And China is currently focusing on the development of resources. A mud road extends over a long distance in a northern farm region. A pipeline built by a Chinese firm runs underneath it. The pipeline breaks up the cornfield into many sections. The pipeline extends more than 1,000 kilometers from a gas field off Myanmar. It is used to transport natural gas to the city of Kunming in China. 80% of the gas produced is for China. There is also a plan to transport crude oil produced in the Middle East and elsewhere to mainland China using pipelines. China is displaying its presence, but an expert stationed in Myanmar says economic reform is promoted along with democratization, and there are business opportunities for Japan as well. The chief of the Japan External Trade Organization's Yangon office, Masaki Takahara, says the Myanmar government is trying to reduce its dependence on China and to ask for other countries' cooperation. He says this should be seen as a good opportunity for Japan. He says the public and private sectors are expected to take joint steps to obtain contracts.